afternoon, everyone. I want to offer, on behalf of the MBTA,
we can't
General
see
Manager
you.
Steve Poptak, I want to welcome everyone who's joining us today for the opening of the Blue Hill Avenue station.
Down in front.
This station is a real symbol of what we can accomplish together when we listen to the community, when we work together, and we challenge ourselves to overcome obstacles. Listening to the community has been a real important theme in the construction of this the construction of this station. We are thrilled to be here today with so many community members who've joined us. As you know, the T is in the process of transforming itself into a system that is more robust and more reliable by making investments like this in improving the system. We're in the middle of a 5-year, $8 billion investment plan to improve our core infrastructure, upgrade our vehicles and equipment, and also strengthen the partnerships we have with communities across the region. We know we need to listen to our customers. We know we need to improve access. And this is a real symbol of that, a symbol of a community that's advocated for investments in this, not only this station, but this entire line. And it's because of those champions for this type of investment that we're here today. Our first speaker has been deeply involved in the MBTA's transformation. Under his leadership, the MBTA now has a rigorous oversight system and a realistic path to make the necessary investments that will improve service, support our economy, and offer new opportunities to connect with jobs, housing, and education. And when he talks about improvements, he's not talking about the distant future. He's talking the kind of investments we can make now that will have an impact on our riders now, like this station, like Blue Hill Ave, that offers more travel choices, a faster commute, and a stronger link between the people we serve and opportunities around the region. Please join me in welcoming Governor Baker to the podium.
Thank you, Steve, and let me just start, first of all, by echoing his gratitude to the people in this region and this community who work so hard to make this and the other stops into the city happen. I think this is now about a 23-minute ride from here into the city, and I have to say that while we're here to cut a ribbon, it's already running. So we'll just pretend a little bit as far as that's concerned. I do want to give a special shout out to Mayor Walsh and to Representative Cullinan and to Representative Holmes. I can promise all of the folks in the community who've been working on this one that they have been a colossal pain in the neck for the better part of the past couple of years on this issue, in the best sense of that word. And as General Manager Poptak said, this is one of a series of investments we're making along this line. I know for a lot of people it's been a long time coming, but it's here. And we're going to continue to invest on this line just as we continue to invest in other expansion initiatives and core investments in the core system. As Steve said, it's an $8 billion investment over the course of the next 5 years, which is more than twice what the T has ever spent in any 5-year period on its infrastructure. It's long overdue, but it's happening, and it's happening now. And I'm very glad to be here to be part of this ceremony. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Governor, and good afternoon. I'm so pleased that we have a nice, although cold, but sunny afternoon to celebrate this major achievement and milestone. As the Governor said, this is about equity, accessibility, and opportunity. I want to credit Mayor Walsh, Representative Holmes, and Representative Cullinan for their advocacy, and to the neighbors and to this community for making sure that this stop at Blue Hill Ave would put you on par and bring the equity to this neighborhood and the respect that this community deserves. When I read recently Representative Holmes' comments about growing up in this neighborhood and seeing the trains go by and wondering why his community was not able to access that train at Blue Hill Ave, it really hits home to all of us. And I think it's a real gift not only to the people who live here today, but to your children and to the next generation who lives in this community. Certainly accessibility, getting to places reliably, of course, is a mission of the T, but also in a shorter period of time. And I think more people leaving this neighborhood to get to places, and then more people coming to this neighborhood to visit the businesses and what this community has to offer is a real great amenity that can be celebrated today. But I think the one word that might sum up what this is all about is opportunities. And when I think about the kids in this neighborhood and the people who live here for generations of families, the opportunity to perhaps access a paid high school internship for a student here, for an adult who's looking to reskill to get to a classroom more efficiently, or for this community to get to jobs in a more convenient and more efficient fashion is a real great opportunity that you so deserve and that we are all very proud to be able to celebrate today. So congratulations and thank you on behalf of our I would be happy to obviously recognize our mayor, who has been such an advocate for this project and for the neighborhoods that make this capital city so great. With that, Mayor Walsh.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for her work. When we were both legislators in the House of Representatives together, the Fairmont Line conversation was going on and happening way back in early 2000s and in the late 90s. And I want to thank her for her leadership. I want to thank the Governor for his commitment, not just here at the station, but the $8 billion over 5 years. That's a lot of money to go into infrastructure, and we're working very closely, not just myself as the mayor of Boston, but mayors from the metro area working with the governor's office and Steve to really think about where these investments are going and the importance. So I want to thank the governor and lieutenant governor for their commitment here. I also want to thank the legislative delegation here in Boston, but in particular, both Danny and Russell behind me. I know that they're passionate about public transportation for the residents of Mattapan and making sure the residents of Mattapan get first-class transportation, and that's what we're talking about today. And I want to thank these two guys behind me and Senator Collins, who've done an incredible job here. So congratulations to the representatives. Great to see it done. And I have to say, you know, when the governor appointed Steve Popchak as the general manager, I knew he'd work quickly, but he's been in the job about 2 months, and we've already kind of ribbon today on the station. So that $8 billion is going to be gone. But I want to thank Steve too. Steve is the general manager here at the MBTA, but he also, when I got elected mayor in 2013, he was on the transition committee for us and helping us really navigate the system of being a new administration. So I know that he understands systems as good as anybody. So thank you, Steve. And to all the folks at the MBTA. Often the folks behind the scenes, you don't get the credit, but I know you do the work. Thank you for the work you do every day and making sure that we're here today. To the neighbors of all the different areas, again, congratulations. I'm not going to talk too long. I know that there's a train coming, but this is going to be an incredible opportunity for this neighborhood. This is going to expand opportunity to employment, expand opportunity to people coming to our neighborhoods, expand opportunity to, in our Imagine Boston 2030 plan, we focused on the Fairmont Line as an opportunity to build new housing and create opportunities for people to stay in neighborhoods. That's in the heart of our plan. So we're going to be working on that plan to make sure that all that happens. I'm not going to go what this train means to people.
By the way, Mayor, you got 12 minutes.
I'm almost done. Let me see. The part the Governor Baker is the best. But you know, one last thing. We're in a very great time in Mattapan. We're in the midst of Plan Mattapan, a master planning process for the neighborhood. The people of this community want to plan, and the next meeting is going to be March 21st at the Mattapan Community Center. And because you have good public transit system here now in Mattapan, on top of what we have already infrastructure, it's going to help us more. So we're going to continue to grow. So to end it all, thank the governor for his investment, thank the lieutenant governor, thank the legislature, and thank the MBTA. I'm going to bring up the next speaker. I know him pretty well. When he graduated college as an intern, he worked in my office at the State House. When he graduated college, I brought him in as a legislative aide, Danny Cullinane, and I knew back then that he wanted to get into politics. He was going to run for office, and I didn't realize many years later he'd be actually sitting in the office that I sat in as a state representative. Your state representative, Danny Cullinane.
Well, first of all, welcome everyone to Mattapan. This is a good news day. Give yourselves a round of applause. And I want to thank the governor and the mayor and Rep. Holmes and most importantly the community that mobilized and organized to make this statement a reality. This doesn't happen by accident. This is a significant investment, and this is the exact definition of what a big victory for transit equity looks like. And that's so important for the community. As the Lieutenant Governor said, it's not just about people from here being able to access downtown Boston. It's about those at every stop along the way being able to access Mattapan. And for so long, people in this community could hear the trains coming through, but couldn't get on. They'd have to go to a different stop or figure out a new way, and it would take people upwards of an hour to maybe access the city. And now with a 25-minute single-seat ride, that gives people so much back of their life if they're commuting into town every day. And that is really what is the game changer here. This is a truly, truly special day for access and for opportunity. And we know that access to opportunity is everything. If you can't get there, or if it takes too long to get there, then in all honesty, that access to opportunity isn't real. And this station today, through the hard work of so many in the community, in Main Streets, and the lead engineer, who I think is all the way in the back, where's Desiree, who got this done, who deserves so much credit. Thank you for everything. Thank you for taking all of our calls and organizing visits. This is really, really a day that everyone in and around Mattapan could be so proud of, and it's an honor to have been a small part in that, so thank you very much. And now I get to introduce my friend, my colleague in the legislature who has been involved in this from the beginning. Before I even entered public office, this was an issue of whether or not you supported this as part of the campaign back in 2013. And this was a big deal, and I was proud to do that. But the fight was already in motion. And there were leaders like former Senator Linda Dorsino-Forey and Rep. Holmes and others in the community that had already carried this torch forward. And so someone that deserves a tremendous amount of credit, and that's a great colleague and friend, Russell Holmes.
Thank you, Dan. I'm going to do what you're not supposed to do, and that is call names. Because I just think at this point, after going through this for 10, 12, 15 years, I want you to hear me say that I thank you. So I know there's much to say, but I want to call out all the names for the folks along Woodhaven. And so Mrs. Fields, Mrs. Dix, Mrs. Parks, Mrs. Lakehart, Lisa Gutscott, Mrs. Days. I want you guys to know that even though it has been a challenge the whole way, we didn't agree much of this way, it is why the station is so much better. When we started this whole discussion, as Dan talked about, the platform was going to be on the left. It was going to outside. But because you were so persistent, we moved this platform to the center because your concern was about whether or not we're going to address your foundations and things of that nature. We heard you. We changed that. There's only one place in this whole route that you can actually take the tracks, push them out, and put a platform in the middle. We would have never investigated that, would have never known that if it were not for the folks on Woodhaven and vicinity. George Lopes, yes, that's right. That's here in the neighborhood. George Lopes, who's right here at the funeral home, been very persistent about what we do for parking. And even, I know Marcus Owens is not here, but Marcus Owens lives over in the Hyde Park area. I can tell you, in those first meetings, he was adamant. If they don't want it in Mattapan, we'll take it in Hyde Park, and we kept going back and forth. If you're not getting it in Hyde Park, that's not what's going to happen. I want to thank the folks over at Jubilee. I don't know if all right, is he here? I want to just thank all the folks at Jubilee. Okay, how you doing, Pastor Matt? I want to thank Pastor Matt, his team, and Tina, with all the things that are happening on the other end. This isn't so much of the conversation was about whether or not we should move the platform on the Jubilee side or move it on the other side, but having real conversations about what's important for the businesses and what's important for the people who on this southern part of Mattapan is what made us say it needs to stay here. As the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, I grew up just a block and a half from here. So I know if you go to Burger King, you know the street that I live on, and that whole ride of making that decision of do I want to get on the 31 or get on the trolley or not, and then get on at the red line and the orange line, having this ride makes a major difference. And anyone who wants to know why I was so passionate about it the whole way is this is where I grew up. I know the difference this will make in everyone's life, and I just want to make sure that I acknowledge still also the folks at Jubilee. Thank you so much. I want to just acknowledge, even though Mel is going to speak, all the folks in the Fairmont Coalition. There's no way I can not acknowledge Marilyn behind me, from all the folks at Four Corners. So Mella, Marvin, all the folks at Dorchester Bay, Southwest CDC, Gale, Maryland, all the Main Streets folks. And I think, I don't care how many times we say it, but Desiree needs the acknowledgement. She stands in the back. Desiree, you know, everyone knows who Desiree is? So, Governor, this is my right now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is my recommendation. That's who your next assistant, whatever. Well, where is he? Where's Pop Tack? I mean, someone who can deliver on time, deliver on budget, and deal with the challenges of this community. I mean, house by house, going into each house, having us go and take the cameras, go in, understand what the foundations are, even along the other stations. When folks call and say, well, my foundation has changed, to now go in and say, well, this is what it looked like before, this is what it looks like now, and that's what's going to need to continue. MassDOT, not only just, to me, all the folks at MassDOT now, but I think about Dr. Scott. Dr. Beverly Scott walked this neighborhood with us, literally knocked on the doors so that we could go over, have conversations about, you know, what are the challenges we're happening. I know Lori Nelson's on the mayor's team now, but Lori and Dr. Scott, we literally walked door by door and said, wait a minute, why are we hearing all of this resistance? What are the changes we should make? I want to also make sure, as Dan talked about, having a team, when you're talking about the politics of this has been a very political thing, but having a team finally with the governor, the mayor, Linda, Dan, Tim, and Andrea, finally a team that said, we're going to move forward. This is the right thing for this community. It feels just like what happened up at Forest Hills. I can't wait till that ribbon cutting as well. Sometimes the neighborhood needs to understand that this is just the right thing to do, even though we're not trying to force anything on you. This is our job. Our job is to deliver what we think is the best. I see Gerald is still here. So Gerald Francis. I want to just give a major shout out to Keolis. There were some challenges that we had about whether or not folks were, this ride was standing up to all the reliability numbers we wanted. Gerald and his entire team, I don't know where's the rest of the team, but where's David? David's here or no? David's not here, but also want to make sure. So what's so great about what's having a Desiree is that she's from the neighborhood. What's so great about having a Darryl on the team at Keolis is that she's from the neighborhood.
I don't want the train to get here when you start
talking. I got you, Doc. But I told them, you all be short so I can say what I got to say. But having folks from the neighborhood who understand the neighborhood is so important. And so finally I'll just end with saying Capuano's no longer our congressman, but I can tell you that having Capuano understand this issue, decide that we need to get this line where it's going to be the one that we're going to need to have ridership up, go into his campaign account and make this ride free for a week or two it was. That makes a difference. And I want to thank him and Candace because of the fact that they were committed to this as well. I won't go into why it's important to me personally. The Lieutenant Governor's already talked about it. But thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Yankee over Fernandez. All the things you guys are doing. This is the right place for us to be. I think my job was to introduce Mella, so I'll do that now. But again, another neighborhood person who's going to come and talk about what we've been doing from this neighborhood. It is important to have our voice at all times. And Mella, who needs no introduction. Mella.
Thank you. I was going to thank all those people, too.
All right, so that means I took your time.
He took a few of them off the list. So I thank the governor. I thank the mayor, formerly Rep. Marty Walsh, and the Fairmont Indigo Transit Coalition. And I just want to name off some groups that didn't get named off, like Project Right, Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, New Market Business Association, we want a Conservation Law Foundation, Greater Four Corners Action Coalition, and Marvin Martin, who's not with us today, he's had to be somewhere else, and all of Voting Geneva Main Street and Four Corner Main Street. So, and he named off the other members of our organization, Southwest Boston. When we started this, we had Mattapan CDC, and we had Governor Patrick, and all of the 6 or 7 or 15 general managers that we went through since I walked on this job, and some of them actually were that acting and are now like the general manager. When I came to Greater Four Corners Action Coalition, I walked on a job and I was told, you're doing Fairmount. And I've been doing Fairmount ever since for the past 12 years. And this is our station. We fought for it, we wanted a ride, and now today, this is a fourth of 4 new stations that the community got together and put a demand in and said, we need to get on the train. When I was a little girl, I used to look through the fence and see the trains going by when I lived in Four Corners, when I was growing up there. And I couldn't get on this train. And so now today, this is our opportunity that we have to own this. We need to get on board. We need to celebrate by riding this train and using all of the opportunities that it is bringing us to. You can go to the movies at South Bay. You can go down and go shopping. One of the most busy shopping plazas in all of New England is right on this line at South Bay. We have theaters up here in Cleary Square. You can go out and go to the theater. We have a bowling alley in Cleary Square. There is no bowling alley, I don't think, anywhere in the city. But you can get there on this train right here, you know? Yeah, but we have to get on board. We got to make sure that we tell everybody, come on, we're going for a ride today. And we're going to make a short ride. We might not get to open up our Wi-Fi enabled trains and get on and, you know, do all of our work, because by the time you get where you're going, it's over. Okay? It was such a short trip. What are you going to do with all those minutes and hours that you're now putting back into your life? Because now you have quick, fast, efficient, comfortable, warm, with a bathroom on board transportation. You don't get that on the bus. I'm just saying. That long bus ride from way up in Walcott Square or Cleary Square up the end of the 24 bus route, that's a long ride to get all the way to Ashmont. There's no bed, there's no toilet on there, you know what I'm saying? So we have to appreciate the amenities that we're getting by having this opportunity to open this station and the investment that was put into our communities. Over $47 million of our tax dollars went in to make this happen. New bridges, new stations. This is our train line. I am so excited today to be able to come here and to cut this 4th ribbon after all these years. I cut the ribbons in 2013, and I'm really excited that we are all going to come together and cut these ribbons today. Thank you. Celebrate. Ride the train.
Great. I want to thank everyone from the community for coming. I want to thank Darren and Trish for putting on a wonderful event. We are now going to cut the ribbon.
I'm sorry.
All right, well, this is like the first shot. All right. Down to the front. It's going to be after 3, all right? Like 14. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers.